my channel. I'm Shannon Margaret B, and usually these reading vlogs for the past couple weeks have been a weekend long thing and I read a book or two. But this time I'm starting a week-long reading vlog. I have been choosing kind of like an author to kind of like highlight and like read whatever I have on my TBR of that author. But this week is for Fredrik Backman. And I love Fredrik Backman. He is the writer of one of the very few books I've read twice. This past winter break, I read Beartown again and I read Us Against You. So I'll put my reviews for those at the end. This week, I'm going to be finishing the trilogy and reading some more Fredrik Backman and some of his standalones. This book is The Winners, and you could see by the size why this is not a weekend long video. I might also do some book shopping this weekend, so I might see if I can actually get more of his books because I really would like the book. I believe it's called A Man Called Ove. I really like Fredrik Backman. He was just on the Beach Books and Beyond podcast sometime last year. He spoke a lot about like social media and how it impacts authors and how like he literally just wants to sit there and write and doesn't want to do the whole social media part of like promoting his books. And it was just a very down-to-earth, interesting interview. If you have a chance, definitely go listen to it. But the other two books for this week are My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You She's Sorry. And the other one I'll be reading is Anxious People, which is pretty popular, I think last year, the year before this came out, and now it's on Netflix as well. That is the books for this week. You can skip to the end if you just want to hear my reviews, and I'll also be including reviews for Beartown and Us Against You at the end of this video. The next day, and I'm going on my book hunt today, so I'm going to be listening to My Grandmother Said She's Sorry throughout my whole drive today. And if you want to see my book hunt, go to my video from last week. This is a Fredrik Backman vlog. I think it's so funny that I found a man called Ove, and I'm so excited. There were so many copies of that actually, so I was able to like pick a really nice copy out. I saw so many copies of Beartown, and for some reason when you love a book, it's almost like you want to buy them all. I wanted to like tell people like buy that one, that one's really good. I'm now home from my book hunt. Go watch my book hunt video from last week if you're curious what I got. I was able to get A Man Called Ove, so I'm like, should I put this in my Fredrik Backman reading this week? And I feel like it's supposed to be like one of the best ones, so I might have to. I'm going to keep on reading My Grandmother Says She's Sorry. I listened to about 2 hours of the audiobook. We're kind of getting into the thick of the story, and it's definitely starting to get sad, but it's a very like fantastical way of telling the story, and I really love the way he's writing this so far. I would say like Beartown trilogy is more like cut and dry, whereas this is very like imaginative and just like a lot more heartwarming in my opinion. So I'm definitely enjoying it so far. So I'm currently on chapter 9, so I'm almost 100 pages in, and I really like it. I really enjoy Fredrik Backman's writing in this. It is a little sad at points, and I think it's just like sad. It talks a lot about like being bullied in school, and you're following a 7-year-old girl named Elsa, and she's so sweet, and like it's just really having a rough go of it. But her grandmother gives her this package of letters and she has to go kind of start on this adventure. So I really like how the book's been set up in the first 100 pages. I don't really know like where it'll twist and turn to, but I really like how he set up the grandmother and the mother and the main character Elsa. It's really good so far.
And the pyramids of Egypt. That have these.
It is Sunday night and I'm all showered and clean and cozy, and I have some time to relax. So I'm going to do some knitting and listen to the audiobook. I really like the audiobook narrator. At some point I will be done this blanket, but I did buy some extra yarn for it, for some skeins, because I realized I only have this one left and you need like 10 or 12 to make it, and I'm only like 3 skeins in, I want to say. So this is number 4, so we're working through it, but it's taken some time. So I'm going to listen to the audiobook and get some knitting in, get some progress done. I would love to be done this skein tonight, but that's like a big undertaking. I don't know if that will happen. It is the next day, it's Monday, and I'm currently working and I'm on lunch right now, so I figured I would update you on chapter 20, so I'm about halfway through. I like it so far. I think I'm getting a little confused because So we're following a young girl, and this book is like definitely very like imaginary and using your imagination and like her imagination colliding with what's actually happening in the real world now. And I find I'm getting like a little confused of like who is actually a character in like this imaginary land and who is like actually a real person in real life. And I love like the point of view of the little girl. And I'm curious if Fredrik Backman, I know he has kids, so I wonder like if he kind of like gleans some knowledge from his daughter or from a younger child. Well, I just got home from work and I figured I would check in. So on my way home from work, I finished. My grandmother asked me to tell you she's sorry. This title is such a mouthful. And I will have my review at the end of this vlog for that. But I can't really decide right now if I want to start reading Anxious People or dive into The Winners. I can't really decide. I feel like I should read this during the week and then save Anxious People and A Man Called Ove for the weekend maybe. And I think I'm going to do The Winners. I think that was my original plan, was to read The Winners during the week. And it's Tuesday, so maybe read this Tuesday to Friday, and then Anxious People and A Man Called Ove Friday to Sunday. I think that's the plan. Good afternoon. It is Wednesday and I'm on lunch at work. Fredrik Backman starts off with, first of all, the most ominous chapter 1, and it like makes you doubt literally everything you know that you've learned in Beartown and Us Against You, and you're pretty much guaranteed that your heart is going to be ripped apart from the very first chapter of the book. You can see I'm highlighting. It's because, like I've mentioned a million times, I really do like this trilogy. So I kind of just want to like stay in the moment as much as possible. Like you definitely can read things passively, and I want to be like really actively reading. So I'm more just highlighting like quotes I like or big things that happen to characters, or if I kind of forgot who a character's relationship was from Us Against You. Chapter 2 like does a really amazing summary. Like I've read a couple trilogies. The recap that he does in a way that also makes Beartown and Us Against You, the books, feel very fresh in your mind is so impressive to me, and it's a really good recap in chapter 2. However, I will say, if for any reason you were like, this one could be the best, who knows? This could be better than Beartown, who knows? But if you were like, oh, I'm going to read them out of order, or oh, I just found this one in the store, but I can't find the other two, let me just read this one first. Chapter 2 definitely spoils like everything that happened in Beartown and Us Against You. It's kind of fun because Beartown as a town is like very up and down, and this is the book called The Winners, so we're kind of seeing, is Beartown, you know, the ultimate winner, because the whole trilogy is Beartown versus Head, which is another hockey town, and these two towns are always dueling with each other. For a bit, and I've had a mindless task, so I was able to listen to some of this, and I just have like more thoughts than I had even this morning. Besides being obsessed with it because this book is so good, I just like, I don't know, I'm like getting mind blown like how intricate this book is, like with all of the characters that you meet throughout Beartown and Us Against You. There's even some new characters in this book, and it's more like analyzing Beartown and Head again, like which obviously that happens a lot in Us Against You. Everyone's like slotting into each other's stories is so well done, and like I literally keep stopping to like put tabs in. I'm putting tabs in when like big things happen, and if I feel like things are being like foreshadowed, which like I'm in the 200s now, and like it's like all been foreshadowing for the most part, but I'm here for it because it's such a long book, so it's like you need the build up, you know? Characters you think would have nothing to do with each other is really good, and there was like a point already where I literally wrote like, I feel so protective of this town. But I also just appreciate like how much the book goes into like friendships with each other. I love that Maya and Anna stayed friends like through the whole trilogy. I think showing their friendship was really interesting, and then also showing the friendship of the players, like Amat and Benji, and Bobo and like everybody, and how like I don't know, it's just cool when you see it like over a span of time. So mind blown by this book, and I'm like trying to pinpoint what it is, but I think it's just like a mix of the writing, the characters, the story unfolding and how it's unfolding. It's just really doing it for me. I'm like so intrigued, and I can't wait to know what happens, but I also don't want to know what happens, and I also don't want this to end. To update you, I only have 100 pages left of the winners. So much, so I'm tabbing when like something big happens. There's like a lot going on, and I think I was really worried that it was going to be like not a lot going on and it was going to be a lot of just like fluff, but like I actually feel like this book is so trimmed down to where it could have went. Like I literally think this could have been like 1,000 pages, just because there is such a large cast of characters and they're all intertwined with each other. So like getting to that point in each of their stories is tough. I'm on page 567. So I literally have like exactly 100 pages left. I tore through this. I thought I was gonna like take a long time with this. Even with the amount of characters, it is such an easy read, and I think it's very fascinating that an author can make you remember each character so well the way he writes them. I will be finishing this tonight. I'm also going to be starting Anxious People. This is supposed to be a little thriller-esque from the reviews I was reading on Goodreads. And obviously this isn't nearly as long as this. So I think between tonight and tomorrow, I'll be able to get through it and then read A Man Called Ove and wrap up my Fredrik Backman video. So it is Friday afternoon and I have a fun weekend planned. Tonight I'm going to pick up, I did like the book nook craft, which is like right here, and I'm going to pick up another one. I'm doing it next month, most likely once I finish my blanket that I'm knitting, because I'm trying to like do one craft at a time. The one that I want is in stock at the Michael's near me, and there's a coupon, so I feel like I'm gonna get it ahead of time just in case it's not on sale or not in stock when I want to get it. Then I realized that Michael's is near my friend, and so I texted her and I was like, hey, I'm going to Michael's. Do you want me to pick up a craft and we can watch Love is Blind? Because we both watch Love is Blind, which this season, I don't know. I don't know about this season. Going over to her house for some snacks. I think I'm gonna get us like mini paint by numbers or mini like diamond art coasters or something. And tomorrow is my wedding tasting. I can't wait. My parents are coming into town and my fiance's parents are coming with us as well. And yeah, I can't wait. We get to like go back to our wedding venue and try everything. So I have all my supplies to finish the winners, and I'm nervous. I have tissues because I just feel like he is about to rip my heart out, and I'm like, I look unwell. Can't we tell I cried a lot at the ending? Oh gosh. Okay, that was just. I mean, this book is like a freaking masterpiece. It is so good. It's a book I'm going to be thinking about for so long. It was so good. I can't believe it's over. I feel like I will gather my thoughts and give my review for the whole trilogy and each book individually at the end. I literally like nasally right now. I'm just eating some tissues because, oh, yeah, that was powerful. This whole trilogy was just like, mm, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. But it's like a different level coming off like my grandmother asked me to tell you she's sorry because this one's like, I mean, this one's kind of sad, but like it's very light, and this was just like, I don't know. I think also it hit me so hard at the end because it like didn't feel terrible the whole time. Like I felt so happy reading it. So I think like getting to the end and like understanding everybody's like fates at the end was just a tough pill to swallow. But yeah, wow, this trilogy is just something else. This is my weekend reads for the weekend. Anxious People and A Man Called Ove. I am going to go have some pizza and collect myself, and I also have to get going to Michael's soon and to a friend's for a little craft night. But whoa. Yes, I also got what I went in there for at a later date, but I cannot wait. I'm addicted from the last one that I did. I'm like, I must do more and more. I hope I don't like end up buying them all, but Michael's, fun fact, has a 30% off coupon right now, and they're like $40, so you get about $12 off right now. If you Saturday, and I got home from my wedding tasting a couple of hours ago. It went well, but for some reason I came home and my social battery was like in the red, like so negative. I was just like so tired and drained and like wanted to be alone, honestly. So it kind of worked out for me to cuddle up with some Fredrik Backman. I'm on chapter 24 of Anxious People. This book is going so fast. It's really fun to see his take on writing thrillers because it's a little thrilling. It's kind of giving like cozy mystery in a way. I just feel like the cast of characters that is slowly getting introduced is like, I just like how the book is progressing in itself. Yeah, the chapters are also super short, so if you want like a super short cozy mystery, I think this is great. I also just love how Fredrik Backman like talks about just like life decisions and life choices and making the right ones, making the wrong ones, and I just like love his writing. And I think it's interesting because I've never, besides reading a series when I was younger, like read an author's work like back to back to back. And I feel like there's so many things I'm coming across from that I really appreciate in his writing that like I don't know if I would pick up on those things had I not read this be my third Fredrik Backman in under a week. I'm going to switch to the audiobook and do a little craft. So last night, me and my friend were starting some diamond art bookmarks, and they are so cute, but I have to like still finish certain spots. I didn't finish it, and then I also didn't do the bottom last night because I wanted to be able to like get this home and cover it. But this kit was only $10 at Michael's, and you get to do 3 different bookmarks. So, and it comes with the tassels and everything. So I'm going to listen to the audio. I couldn't get it on Libby because there's such a long wait, but I have my 10 hours of Spotify listening time with Spotify Premium. So I'm going to do some diamond art and listen to my audiobook, and I will check in with you if I have anything to note. sometime later, and I finished my bookmark. This is so cute. Bro, I'm having difficulties. I think I did it right. Look how adorable. This was so much fun. If you have this in the Michaels by you, it is so much fun. And I have two more that I can do. This one's like more greenery, both of these. So this is what it looked like before, and then this one looks like now. And she's like, they're like thick bookmarks too. They're not thin and cheap. They're very nice. So I just hope like all of my like gems stay on there. I'm almost halfway through Anxious People. Love it. Let me say hi. He literally hates the camera. The story is just so good. I don't know, for like a Saturday night hanging out doing some crafts by myself, it's just like so fun to read like a little the story. I don't know, and I think it's also just like so different from like the heaviness of Beartown. Not that this book isn't a little heavy, but I think it talks about heavy issues in a very light way, whereas I feel like the Beartown trilogy talks about heavy issues in a very heavy, dark, and sad way. But it's not what I was expecting. I don't know what I was expecting, but the whole time I'm like reading slash listening to this, I want to watch the Netflix show so bad. So I'm definitely going to do that after I finish. Also, I thought it was interesting because I got a notification that, not that I have notifications on for authors, but Fredrik Backman just posted today. What the heck? He posted a 25% off for UK books. I'm like, what about the United States? He posted a new book. It's called My Friends. There's not a ton of information about what it's about. And literally this is like all him just being like, I'm not good at social media and keeping you guys posted. And I'm like so into like writing. So we've made it to the review portion of this video. So we are going to start off with the book that I've probably mentioned most, which is Beartown. So this was published in 2016 and is 432 pages. And this is an amazing start to a trilogy. It is not just a trilogy, it is a journey. It follows two hockey towns that are always dueling, which are Beartown and Ked. This book, definitely the first one, mainly focuses on Beartown and when the star player does something absolutely unthinkable. It really rocks the town and you're going through all of the aftermath between friendships and family and sports. It's very fascinating. I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. I've read this twice. I read it again this past winter to start getting back into the trilogy and refresh my memory and read Us Against You. This book is a book that definitely makes you think and leaves lasting effects on your psyche because you will often find yourself, I often just find myself throughout the years since I've read this for the first time thinking about this book. The next review is for Us Against You. So this book is published in 2017 and is 448 pages and is the second book in the Beartown trilogy. This book really follows the politics between the two towns, Head and Beartown, and how the politics surround the hockey team in Beartown and how they're trying to protect them. It also follows the aftermath of everything that happened in the first book. Pretty much everything that happened in the first book is also spread out through the other books in the trilogy, so you're also dealing with the aftermath of what happened in Beartown. I gave this book 3 out of 5 stars just because it was so focused on the politics. You have to read this one for the winners to really pack a punch because there is so much building and story building and relationship building in this book that I almost feel like it was a prelude to the winners. This book, I think, still gives you a good story on Beartown trying to come back and get their town together, but it definitely wasn't as impactful as Beartown was to me. The next review is for the winners. You can see how I feel about it already, and I was raving about it throughout the vlog. So this is 671 pages and it was published in 2022 as the conclusion to the Beartown trilogy, which makes me heartbroken because I could read about this town for another 10 books. This book zooms back into Beartown 2 years later after Us Against You. Really seeing the after effects again of Us Against You and decisions that were made in that book are really spread throughout this book and make it a really juicy story in my opinion. Fredrik Backman makes you feel like no time has passed at all, and it's really about the characters trying to heal. I would say The Winners is really like a book of a healing journey through all of the friendships and the families and all of the people themselves. Fredrik Backman has a great way of telling you something terrible is going to happen, and then when it actually happens, you're shocked and surprised and just upset like I was. I gave this book a million out of 5 stars. It was so amazing. If you take anything away from this video, please read the Beartown trilogy. It is so fantastic. I think it is such a work of art, and I cannot say enough nice things about Fredrik Backman and this trilogy. It is just so impactful and insightful, and I think it's because he approaches things in such a different light than I've seen other authors approach issues. Although this book is large, please don't let the page count sway you or change your decision. It is so worth it, and it really flies right through. The next book, which I realized I was saying the title wrong half the time through, but is My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You She's Sorry. This book is 372 pages and was published in 2013, and you are following 7-year-old Elsa, and yes, this is mainly told from Elsa's point of view. And she and her grandmother have this fantastical land. It's a very imaginative book. And when her grandmother passes, she leaves behind a letter that sets Elsa onto a journey to meet all of the people that her grandmother has kind of like wronged and tell them that she's sorry. It really goes over the relationship between grandmother and mother, mother and daughter, grandmother and daughter, and is quite fascinating how it's written from a child's point of view for the majority of the time. I gave this book 3 out of 5. Although the book did move well and did have good themes throughout it, I felt like sometimes reading from the 7-year-old's point of view, I was a little confused, like if she would reference things, like what was actually happening in the real world. So I guess that just like disconnect a tiny bit is what made me give it a 3 out of 5. This book for me, the relationships definitely carried the story, and the grandmother was pretty hilarious, and just Elsa's take on the view is pretty funny to read. The next book is Anxious People, which is 336 pages and was published in 2019. And this book follows a bank robbery gone wrong where the robber runs into like an open house for an apartment and accidentally takes all of the prospective buyers hostage. This book was hilarious. The cast of characters is so like witty and wild and crazy, but they all kind of make sense when they're all together, which is funny. This book, 5 out of 5 stars. I thought the writing was hilarious and the cast was just so funny. And I think he takes a really light approach to really heavy mental health issues in a way that it's just so approachable for anybody to read about it, but it still understand the messaging that he has behind it. And I also just love Fredrik Backman's bluntness in this, and the interviews throughout were hilarious. And as well, I recommend the audiobook highly because the interviews and just the different voices are so great. I definitely would say that this is in a genre of its own. I wouldn't go in thinking that this is a thriller. I wouldn't really go in thinking that it's a mystery, maybe leans cozy mystery, but definitely just a different like fictional mystery journey. I wouldn't try to put it in a single bucket because it's just so unique. And the last book, which was published in 2012, which is Fredrik Backman's first work, is A Man Called Ove. This book is 337 pages and follows an old grumpy man, kind of down on his luck, kind of feel like he's lived his best life and he's ready to go. As he's trying to pass away quietly, a lot of things just keep going wrong in a funny way, as Fredrik Backman's writing is his funny way to approach really heavy issues. I gave this book 4 out of 5. I felt like it was just so heartfelt, and I felt like we all know a person like Ove or our own grandparents, or even just parts of his life that I still identified with, even only being in my late 20s. Also loved reading about his backstory and why he is the way he is, and I feel like that's a theme through all of Fredrik Backman's books, is like people are the way they are for a reason. Overall, I can't say enough good things about this author, and I think I definitely want to start reading authors' works back to back to back because you really get such an insight into how they write, and what their messaging really is. I cannot wait for his new book, My Friends, to come out in May. I will definitely be purchasing that. I don't purchase new books often, but I am excited for that one. So this was my week with Fredrik Backman. Look at this beautiful stack of books. His books are so pretty. But if you have any other authors that you think I should do this for, let me know. And please subscribe. I'm Shannon Margaret B, and I'll see you next time. Bye!